Hey folks, if you're listening to this message, I am dead. I have died. And the one thing that I want you to do in memory of me, is buy some merchandise. If you feel so inclined, we're not going to force you to do it. I'm dead. I can't do anything. In addition to selling merch for the month of December 2025, and not a second longer, we are also, as you may have seen, opening up the avenue to annual subscriptions. You are not having to pay a fee for every month. You can pay it all up front for an entire year. This offer is available this month. We are offering this at 20% off. That is a full 1/5 of the price off. If you're on the $5 tier, that means you are effectively paying $4 a month for the entire year. $10, $8, $20, $16. How about that? And if you're on the $20 tier, you also get a 20% discount on the merch. Once the newest Year's Day happens, or as I like to call it, Y Gives for years, January 1st, 2026, it's not available anymore. And I'm still gonna be dead. You can't bring me back, folks.
What?
Alfred was dead to begin with. There is no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and cool Voltaire. Ditty signed it. And Ditty's name was good upon change for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Alfred was dead as a doornail. Mind, I don't mean to say that I know, of my own knowledge, what there is particularly dead about a doornail. I might have been inclined myself to regard a coffin nail as the deadest piece of ironmongery in the trade, but the wisdom of our ancestors is in the simile, and my unhallowed hands shall not disturb it, or the country's done for. You will therefore permit me to repeat, emphatically, that Alfred was dead as a doornail.
I think my favorite thing about reading any Dickens is you can tell at any moment where he's just like, well, I get paid by the word, so let's just stretch this shit out.
Okay,
let's talk about it.
To be fair, that's kind of bullshit, the paid by the word thing, especially with the Christmas Carol, which is a short book.
Right. What I mean is that might be bullshit, but like the mentality of it is not. He reads like he's paid by the word.
I actually didn't realize he ever wrote about Brian. That was news to me.
That is the biggest revelation, I think.
Yeah, we were
today.
good friends.
Oh, fuck.
You and Dickens?
Yeah, until the thing.
Oh, was it about Edward?
No, he and I both have the same distaste for Plorn.
So many possible worlds, but we got this one. So many possible worlds, but we got this one.
Welcome to the Worst of All Possible Worlds, the first and only podcast that hates Plorn Dickens. I am the worst of all possible AJs.
I'm the worst of all possible Brians.
And I'm the worst of all possible Joshes.
I think we should clarify that Charles Dickens had a son. It was his 10th son.
Yep, and his son was named Plorn.
Named
right.
Edward Dickens, that he nicknamed Plorn. And when somebody asked him, why do you call your son Plorn? Dickens responded, he looks like a Plorn. He did not care for this boy at all.
Does he look like a Plorn? But, you know, he went on to Australia. He got involved in, like, Australian government. And then he started that band with Nico Case.
Oh, what's the band's name?
The New Plornographers.
Yes! We're back! All three of us in a room.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Josh.
I'm somewhat low energy. That's a great way to start a podcast, is by announcing how low energy you are. But I am still recovering
from your trip to Norway.
From 2 weeks of being pretty...
The Netherlands and Norway, because I got mixed up and said both.
Sure. No, from 2 weeks of being
tour.
pretty solidly ill the whole time. I've turned the corner. Just make sure to get your seasonal vaccines, everybody. I know that it's not on trend right now. I know that our HHS secretary is going to make sure that we're all staying healthy again by not getting vaccinated. But get your damn shot.
There's some new flu vaccines out there that you can get that are designed the same way as like the Novavax COVID vaccine. We're doing some incredible science right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's all falling
everything.
apart because of some horrible Irish American whose dad and uncle just were lucky enough to die before living into the 2020s.
It's so wild that like that shit happened to both of their brains, but for some reason RFK Jr. got everything with his brain except for it actually exploding. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. He's got
Lee Harvey Oswald with a worm loaded into a rifle.
It just goes. That's not going to read on a mic. Hold on.
Do it again.
He shoots it and it goes right into the ear canal. We are here today to talk about A Christmas Carol, but not just any Christmas Carol. No, we're talking about The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah. For me, this is probably my favorite, with Muppet Treasure Island a close second, and then everything else following. I really like when they take on literature. It didn't work out when they did The Wizard of Oz, but
unfortunately,
never saw that one.
It was a TV movie.
Like this
was like on
yeah.
ABC. It takes some more things from the book that you don't usually see in the adaptations, but it's just a little too loose. Yeah,
it kind of sits there like a fish. And basically, doing all the research for this, it seems like Muppet Christmas Carol could have gone that way, if not sort of for the intervention of Jerry Jewell on the screenplay, who had worked on so many other Muppet projects before and really did want to be faithful to the original Dickens text in a way that was not the initial idea. The initial idea was this thing was just going to be full balls to the wall parody from top to bottom.
Have you guys seen The Muppet Show, the original show?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I definitely watched a lot of it as a little kid. That and Muppet Babies.
Right. Of course.
Which is a little different because it's a cartoon. But like, the sense of it is like it's a variety show in the style of Sonny and Cher or whatever the other shows were at the time. But it's always about to completely fall apart.
Yes.
Right. And you get that with the old specials too. Emmett Otter's Jug fuck it's called.
Jamboree.
And the other Christmas specials that they did, the Muppet Family Christmas and everything else. It's like the looseness is the point.
Yes.
But when you apply it to literature, like with The Wizard of Oz, it doesn't really work.
And I think it's worth noting, too, that when you're talking about Christmas Carol and Treasure Island, both of those are post-Jim Henson productions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas, of course, these earlier films, so much of it, I think, is the spirit of Jim Henson himself, the creator of the Muppets, in how he himself was a kind of a chaotic guy, from what I understand.
Chaotic,
but generally nice, which is unusual for puppeteers.
Look, as someone who has worked with a lot of puppeteers, I have actually been very lucky and blessed to only work with really nice, kind puppeteers. It's mostly the people that are in charge of the puppeteers that are absolute nightmares.
Yeah, it's like if you ever heard the stories about the set of Alf.
Yes,
that's pretty typical. Unfortunately,
Alf seemed that seemed like an absolute horror show.
In that particular situation, all the puppeteers were really nice. It was Alf who was the problem.
Yeah, no, that's true. He kept eating cats.
I'm glad that got you so much, Ryan.
I'm just surprised that you've seen Alf. AJ.
Yeah, really? Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
I'm always just surprised that you've seen something.
That's fair.
That's like older than you.
Well, no, I've seen. I mean, this is a movie I watched a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
This was like my intro, I believe, to the Muppets in general. And actually,
I think in a sense for me too. Yeah.
One of the big critiques of this movie at the time from a lot of the reviewers were just like, this movie is too straight-laced. It is too earnest. It is too treacly.
Yeah.
I want my Chaos Muppets back.
Roger Ebert gave it a positive review. I was watching him and Siskel go over it. Siskel gave it a thumbs down.
Yeah.
And Ebert's whole thing was like, it's too dark. Which, one, it's not. I do wonder if maybe the initial round of prints were maybe a little bit darker or something. Cause
dark in the thief sense? Like
it was too dark. And that, it subdued the colors of the Muppets, but it also could have just been his expectation that it was going to be very bright and high key.
I mean, my favorite Muppet movie, Great Muppet Caper, is so bright and so over the top and so ridiculous. And you have those big sequences that are parodying the old ballets, the diving ballets. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. And the Hail Miss Piggy number is the one I remember most.
Yeah, the Busby Berkeley musical numbers. Yeah.
Yes. And also, Brian and I have a shared experience of Henson's puppets that I thought I had dreamed, and I think Brian had also thought he had dreamed.
No, I didn't think I had dreamed it. Okay. I just, it was one of those movies I saw as a kid that I just never thought I'd ever encounter anyone talk about when I was an adult. Yeah. And I never gave it much thought. So there's this German straight-to-video movie that the Jim Henson company made called The Secret Life of Toys.
Okay.
It's kind of the same premise as Toy Story, where it's like toys are all doing stuff while you're away, and then whenever you're there, they kind of freeze up and they pretend to just be these inanimate things.
Right.
However, as we know, that with the toys in Toy Story, that's just kind of solidarity. That's an agreement that they have with themselves and with the humans, and they can break that, right? Yeah. Tom Hanks just completely destroys Sid's mind.
Yes.
As he should.
Which, it's okay. Sid seems to be doing fine in Toy Story 3, driving the garbage truck.
He's having a great time.
But in The Secret Life of Toys, if humans ever see the toy being alive, they get frozen forever in the terms of this movie.
Yes. And so there's a song in it called Beamland, which is what happens to toys who get put into the attic, which they would use in Toy Story 3. That's like a major driving force of Toy Story 3. But it's just a song of like a bear covered in dust singing Beamland, Beamland all alone forever that gave me nightmares for most of my childhood. And that's the thing about Henson, right? Is that he would never shy away from the darkness.
That's true.
I mean, Dark Crystal originally wasn't even supposed to have like intelligible language in it. It was just supposed to be this weird dark fantasy movie.
And so that was sort of my experience with Henson was Beamland and this on sort of the opposite extremes of it.
So you weren't seeing like Muppet Babies and the Muppet Show like on daytime TV or something.
Well, what's weird, I think this is like we're only like I think 2 years apart, you and I, Brian. And
like a year.
Maybe that, but like that gap was enough for me to like feel like Muppet Babies was a little bit too young for me. Like I would watch some of it, but I was more into Tiny Toon Adventures if I was going to like the littler versions of any other cartoons.
Well, and I didn't have WB, so I didn't have Tiny Toon Adventures.
There you go.
Yeah, I think Muppet Babies was on like Nick Jr. or something, and I don't know what channel I was seeing, the Muppet Show on.
It was Disney. It was like Playhouse Disney or
but
whatever.
Like, I didn't have Secret Life of Toys. That's the thing. Everyone just saw this, and we don't know how it got into our homes.
That was a videotape. That was just
but where did it come from?
I don't know. You know how like grandparents would sign up for like Columbia Record Club? They had similar things for like straight to video shit.
This movie that started out mixed reviews, it did not make a lot of money at the box office.
No, it didn't. It made its money back.
Certainly.
But like, it's really strange. I mean, people didn't respond very well to the film, and they really didn't respond to Paul Williams' songs for some reason.
Really?
No. And I will say
they're so charming.
They're great.
They are incredibly charming, and
except for one,
and we'll get to that. But I do think that I kind of understand where people are coming from if you're expecting to go in to see a Chaos Muppet picture and you get these songs which are pretty straight-laced on the whole.
But like, I don't know, because I feel like the old Muppet movies still have Rainbow Connection.
I was going to say.
Also by Paul Williams.
Yeah, come on.
And I love the music of Paul Williams. I also, speaking of childhood memories of like a certain artist and their output, my first memory of Paul Williams was, of course, him playing himself in an episode of Dexter's Laboratory where he teaches Dexter how to play music.
Oh my God.
It's so fucking good.
I don't remember this episode.
I'll have to show it to you after the recording.
We had a real
it's
Dexter's Lab run. We had Mandark in 1941, and now we're on to this second thing.
That's
a pattern, right? When two things happen.
Rolls of twos.
Titty roll of twos, baby. But the other thing about Muppet Christmas Carol, Josh, as you were saying earlier, is that this was one of the first post-Jim Henson dying projects.
Yeah, it's the first movie.
Yes.
I think they had done a little bit of other stuff before that point.
He died like a year and a half before release or something
2 years.
like that. 2 years.
Which is interesting because like this wasn't even a Jim Henson project. This kind of came out of like, what do we do now that Dad died?
And, and you say Dad, very literally, Brian, his son, was the one who really shepherded this whole production into existence, right?
Yeah, I did.
You did, yes. You and your good friend Charles Dickens.
No, Brian Henson.
Yes.
Not Brian Alford.
Well, he doesn't go by Brian most of the time. That's why it's confusing. He went by Plorn.
He did go by Plorn. Plorn Henson. So let's just give some context for all this, right? On May 16th, 1990, Jim Henson dies of strep throat, right? Well, technically he dies of toxic shock syndrome.
It's kind of a rare type of strep infection that he gets.
It's the same one that got Whit's wife.
And that's the thing, right?
It sort of is the same thing because the cause of death was revised a little bit later to include organ failure, but it wasn't like he was sick for a very long time or was sick, got better. Yeah. And it was just really fast. And Frank Oz doesn't mince words about this. He blames Disney.
Really?
He said
100%.
because this was also the time that the Muppets were getting not entirely sold out. They didn't own the Muppets.
Right.
No.
Right. But they got the rights to make movies and theme park attractions and all this stuff. It was a big, complicated deal. Right. Disney famously not the nicest people to work with.
And Jim was just running himself ragged, basically.
And he ran himself so thin. And he didn't go to the doctor. He was very sick and he didn't go to the doctor and he kept working.
Yeah.
And there was a night he was coughing up blood and they couldn't convince him to go to the hospital.
Yeah, he waited
for 2 hours.
He waited for 2 hours and they said
that could have been the difference.
Had he come in, he would have, they might have been able to save him. But
it was horrible. I mean, it was just like, it was so horrible and so fast.
And it was so sudden, and he was such a beloved man and a beloved figure in the entertainment industry. I mean, there's a very famous video of his funeral where Big Bird walks on stage.
God, yeah.
There are a whole bunch of things he dictated about his funeral, right? No one could wear black, right? They had to be in bright colors. They played When the Saints Go Marching In as everybody left the thing. Like, it was supposed to be a very joyous occasion. And Carol Spinney's up there and he's trying to perform this song is Big Bird and he can't get through it because he keeps breaking down crying.
It's Not Easy Being Green.
Yeah, that's right.
As Big Bird?
Yes, it's not easy.
Yeah,
well, because no one's playing Kermit yet.
Oh, sure, of course.
They hadn't assigned that. The first person to play Kermit would then go on to play Kermit for about 20 years. That's Steve Whitmire, who takes over 6 months after his death because the first big project was Muppet Vision 3D.
Yes, at Disney.
Which opens at Disney's Hollywood Studios in 1991, and it just closed this past year.
Really?
They played their last show because they're moving something else into the space.
Yeah, and also one of Jim Henson's other sons was playing Sweetums for that because the original Sweetums, Richard Hunt, had also just died. Of AIDS. He was also Beaker. He was also Statler.
It was a huge devastating time, and also this film is dedicated to the memory of both of them. Both of them, right? Yeah. But this, again, in 1989, Henson had entered into these negotiations to sell the Muppets to Disney for a reported $150 million.
And I think Brian closed the deal in the mid-90s?
No, early 2000s. It took a long time. Disney was basically...
Because Disney wanted to own them, and now they do. Yeah. But that was not the case through the 90s.
No, they were basically licensing them out for a while, right? And this movie comes out of that deal, but it's mostly because it's not even a demand of Brian Henson himself, of Plorn Hansen himself. I said Hansen. Of Plorn Hansen himself.
Dear Plorn Hansen.
Yeah. Dear Plorn Hansen, you've been way too out of plush. This idea for this actually came from a guy named Bill Haber, not Bill Hader.
No, different guy.
Haber,
Bill
guy.
Hader would have been kind of young at this point.
Very young.
Still in Tulsa.
Little young.
He would have been a Hader baby. My favorite show on the WB. It was just all the SNL babies.
SNL babies?
Yes.
Go on.
This is the worst show idea I've ever heard.
It's not great.
No,
it's just Jim. No, it's Jim Belushi. It's John Ritter running around.
And I watched the other show, Tiny Mad TV Adventures.
That's
a
great,
small
though.
Deborah Wilson.
Come on!
Who's your favorite SNL baby?
Who is my favorite SNL baby?
Wait, no, wait. Okay, wait a second. No, I'm back on Mad TV, Tiny Mad TV, because Michael McDonald as Stewart just plays him as an adult.
Oh yeah, so very deep baritone. Yeah, and then
look what I can do, and then he does taxes.
We've never been more back.
I'm just obsessed with the idea of baby Norm Macdonald.
Oh God, baby fucking
full suit and tie.
John Belushi.
Sorry, which one?
Which one?
John Belushi, the asshole one. Because Jim Henson was in the original group for SNL.
He was. I auditioned to play him. In that movie that came out.
Oh.
Wait, really?
I sent in a tape for it.
Jim Henson was.
Yeah, they had a puppet section.
Really?
And John Belushi refused to participate in it. He said, I don't write for felt or some shit.
Yeah.
And so they really just kind of pushed Jim Henson out after the first year. And then Henson had his own kind of adult.
Is that Muppet Sex and Violence then came out of that, basically?
Sex and Violence came out of that, yeah. Because the original Muppet special was called Sex and Violence.
That's right.
There's, of course, not really any sex unless you count all the sexual assaults that Miss Piggy commits against Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, but I mean,
she does not leave the lizard alone.
Bill Haber. Yeah. Brian.
My favorite Muppet baby, yes.
Favorite Muppet baby. Brian Henson's talent agent is like, hey, I know you're all going through grief right now. Jim Henson died 2 years ago, but that Christmas Carol is a really solid 90-minute book. So maybe we should just adapt that using the Muppets. And Brian Henson's like, let me take some time to think about it. And apparently 2 hours later, Bill Haber calls back and says, I've sold it to ABC.
Whoa.
And so they're like, great. And so this starts its life as a television movie.
And of course,
right?
ABC, Disney.
Right.
So Jerry Jewell is brought on to write the screenplay, and this guy knows the fucking Muppets like the back of his hand, right? He has written
there's
for
that
he was
mole
the head
on
writer
his
for the Muppet
thumb
Show, yes.
and a scar when he fell off of his bicycle.
The Ghost of Christmas Past in this original draft, right, that they're working on, was going to be played by Robin the Frog, who eventually became Tiny Tim.
Right.
Yeah. Kermit's nephew playing his son, yes.
Yes. And then Christmas Present was going to be Miss Piggy, sort of the way that...
I can see that.
Yeah, that Brian Henson describes it as like a bacchanal.
Right.
I like the idea of Christmas Present, usually a very nice, accommodating character being incredibly mean and forceful.
Yes.
And then the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, Animal.
Oh, of course. Yeah. So this is a lot like Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Yes.
Right? The previous Disney property that had only been made like 10 years earlier with like kind of the new Disney animation team.
Who were the ghosts of past, present, and future in
I'm
that?
so glad you asked, Josh, because I was just about to say it.
You fucking Disney adult.
So, no, actually, this is the Adventures in Odyssey guy here because these are all people who would eventually go on to Adventures in Odyssey. We're talking Walker Edmiston. We're talking Hal Smith. We're talking Will Ryan.
Yeah.
So, in Mickey's Christmas Carol, one, I didn't know that Scrooge McDuck was an older character than that. He was created in the 1940s.
Yes, he was.
As just
Really?
like an antagonist to Donald Duck in like the comic books that they had.
Yes, the evil
And
capitalist
so they were like,
uncle.
what if we did an adaptation of the Christmas Carol using this character that we already have been calling Scrooge for 40 years?
Yeah. He's also got a really great bit in it where he's just like, we saved money on Marley's funeral by having a burial at sea.
It's also pretty short. I think it's like a half hour.
Yeah, it's quick.
And Marley is Goofy.
Okay.
And I believe he's Walker Edmiston in that, or he's Hal Smith. He's one of those two. The Ghost of Christmas Past, they go a little outside of just Mickey cartoons. So Christmas Past is Jiminy Cricket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Christmas Present is Will Ryan as the giant from the Jack and the Beanstalk cartoon. And Christmas Future is a guy in a robe and you don't know until he shows Scrooge his grave and throws him straight into hell.
Yes.
Nice.
And he takes off his hood and it's Pete.
Yeah, of course.
It's always Pete.
It's
Well,
expound on that.
Well,
What do you
no,
mean?
in terms
It's
of,
always
no,
Pete?
in terms of like evil characters, like
sure,
mostly
sure.
I'm talking about Kingdom Hearts.
But Bart,
It's like Pete once.
that soon.
no, when Goofy is involved, it's always Pete.
Yeah, if Goofy's there, Pete is usually the bad guy, like
Right.
the go-to henchman.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course he's kind of, I don't think it's technically Pete, but like Pete is the put upon guy in the original Steamboat Willie,
Right. And
which I did. Mickey Mouse. Remember that joke?
wow,
I sure
we're
do.
back. Gotta save those old bits. But yeah, no, it's from the wood
Whoa,
chipper.
careful with that bit. It's an antique.
You know who said that?
These bits are old enough they can vote.
You know who said that?
Who said that?
Ray Liotta.
Walking into the bit store, walking into the bit store, just picking up a bit, shaking it around, and being like,
Whoa, careful there.
I think this thing used to be,
That's a leather bar you've got there. So basically,
Wait. The great thing about those bits in the bit store, they suck you off. That's like the first bit we ever did. I
think so. No. The first bit is it's tape, which
tape.
never took, and we still insist upon.
Josh still does it. And it's, well, that's the thing is like, it's tape is a reference to a thing that a lot of autistic people are obsessed with on the internet. So it holds. Nick Mullen makes references to that video.
Yeah.
It's a classic
And
video.
he's way more famous than we are.
That's right.
Who's Jerry Jewell?
Jerry Jewell is the screenplay writer for this film and also the inventor of a vape. And he didn't, but
No, it's spelled differently.
It is spelled
with an H.
differently. It's a hool. It's a guardian.
Juhl, not H-U-U.
No. It's a guardian of the hool.
Hoolie?
It's an owl.
Yeah, it's the fucking Zack Snyder owls.
Yes.
Please, God, just go to the next sentence.
So Jerry Jewell comes out swinging for Dickens' original prose here, right?
Yeah.
I love his cover of Mad World.
Next sentence.
So this leads to Gonzo and Rizzo, and Gonzo was at one point considered to be the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come as well.
Okay,
So it
okay.
would just be the robe, but with the nose sticking out, which I could see
That's
like
funny.
in a parody version
yeah,
of
that's
this.
if you just want the whole thing to be silly.
Completely silly.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They actually wanted to do a very earnest adaptation of A Christmas Carol. And in order to do that, they would need a Scrooge that would take this incredibly seriously and earnestly as well. Right. So they bring on Michael Caine, and there's a pretty famous quote from Michael Caine that has made it sort of around in every single interview.
Yeah.
Brian Henson brings it up all the fucking time when he talks about his process as relates to Scrooge, which I will do. in my terrible Michael Caine
let's hear it.
impression.
Yeah.
Okay, got to get into it. Michael Caine. Michael Caine. Michael Caine. Very bad indeed. I'm going to play this movie like I'm working with the Royal Shakespeare Company. I will never wink. I will never do anything Muppety. I'm going to play Scrooge as if it is an utterly dramatic role and there are no puppets around me. And Brian Henson to this responds, yeah, bang on. Let's fucking do this, bro.
Can you do that monologue from the Batman movies where he's just like crying the whole time?
I don't know exactly what the lights are.
It's something Master Wayne, you know.
Master Wayne. I was sworn to protect you, and I never could. I failed you.
I can understand it too much. It's gotta. We gotta lose it.
I'm going.
You gotta get the sobs just fully overpowering. Come on.
Here we go.
I'm going to a cafe.
Oh.
In the middle of France. And I know, but I won't see you there. I won't see you there. If I see you there, I will be a twist master. I'm actually getting a little lightheaded. I have to say.
Yeah, you weren't breathing enough.
If you could see AJ's face right now, folks,
it's too much.
He's like being animated like a bad puppet, really. His eyes were just wide open.
Well, and that's the thing about Michael Caine is my doing an impression of him would actually not do justice to his entire technique.
Yeah.
No one has taught how to act for the camera quite as well, in my opinion, as Michael Caine.
People make fun of it.
Yeah.
But he has such good advice on the practical aspects. If anyone has,
what does he say?
Well, he made this whole video special
Yes.
on acting for the camera.
You can watch it on YouTube right now.
It's really basic stuff like
Don't blink ever. As long as the camera's on you, remain. Because the minute you blink, the audience's attention goes away.
and stuff like how when you move, prepare your movement. Always set something up because you're telling the cameraman to follow you.
Yeah,
You're like,
where
you don't
you're going.
just stand. You put your hands on your lap and you get
You
up.
move up so
It's
they can
like-
do it with you.
Yeah, and of course there's the famous Peter Serafinowicz sketches about
Yes.
this, about how a sausage looks like a cigar and a cigar looks like a sausage, and how you should always be in every shot. And like,
Just walk in the back. Even if it's a cutaway it's a tour like you on the other one.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just Michael Caine in the background of the shot of the other guy in the conversation.
No, and it's again, it's also these things of just like where to put your eye line and
Yeah.
like what part of that is actually going to be enthralling to an audience.
Yeah.
No one understands how to work acting for a camera quite like Michael Caine, and you can tell in this movie, right? Because he's adding another layer on top of it, which is I have to remain focused on my mark in like the distance while also balancing on a precarious 2x4 because there is no floor because there's puppets all around.
Everything that looks like a backlot in this movie is just a very heavily lit indoor space with removable floors so that they can get the Muppets in there, in and out, and they can make these little channels that if they need to walk down the street or anything like that.
So when they start filming this, right, Michael Caine is very intimidating at first. He loosens up immensely, though. Like, I read an interview with him where he's just like, I seem so serious in the movie, but that's because we had to do 2 or 3 takes because I could not stop breaking at the Muppets.
Yeah.
Like, when he's in his office at the beginning and it's all the rats who are just, like, working behind him, apparently when he would turn away from them, they would all start goofing off.
Yeah,
and the
of
minute he would
course.
turn back, they would all get back to work. And it broke him every single time. There's a point where he throws a wreath at the little the beggar rabbit.
Yeah.
Right? Where he just full on in the movie, you see him throw it and hit the puppeteer and go "Oop," and he like as he closed the door behind him, right? Like he turned out to be very silly and very game when he was
and
on
something
set.
that's really essential to being this kind of performer, doing this work with puppetry, is that you're really involved in that character.
Yes.
Right? This is a very difficult form of puppetry. You're holding your arm up above your head all the time. Just try doing that for an hour.
So
try doing that for 8 hours.
Yeah.
And try doing that for 30 days in a row for 8 hours.
So when they did Avenue Q on Broadway, right?
That's at like chest level.
That is at chest level. It is not fully up. It is not fully hidden. It works out muscles that you didn't even know you had in your neck and back to like hold it up that long.
This is why like boom operators end up having to retire out of operating boom stuff and moving on to different parts of audio because you actually will hurt your body doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know how Carol Spinney played Big Bird, and he's not doing the arm all the way up thing with Big Bird. He has a control in front of him, but like it's the Henson style of puppeteering is so demanding.
Yes.
That to see people who did it for as long as they did is just crazy. And they have to watch their movements with TV monitors. It's a style of puppeteering that's only made possible because of the technology of television and film.
Well, and it's also in Q, right? They were at chest level, but they still had to work out the other side of their bodies because their right sides were getting fucking ripped and their left sides were like gangly little noodles. So they would have to go to the gym just to like balance out their bodies. But I was also in a show called Paddington Gets in a Jam where...
Who's Paddington?
He's a friend of mine. But where they use
Paddington is my friend.
Where they use Henson style Muppets.
Yeah.
But more insane than that, they had to do it without monitors.
Yeah.
So that whole show...
And you were on stage and you never saw the puppeteers
And you
ever.
never saw the puppeteers once.
Hey there, you are listening to a preview of a premium episode of The Worst of All Possible Worlds. If you'd like to listen to the rest of this, head on over to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/worstofall. And you can listen to not only the rest of this episode, but our entire backlog of premium episodes, bonus episodes, and if you subscribe at the $10 tier, you will get an extra episode of the podcast every single month. Again, that is patreon.com/worstofall. Hope to see you there.